You have been lied to about intimacy. You've been told to play safe, to be polite, to ask the right way, as if attraction is a script you can memorize. And that is why so many men fail with women. Because intimacy was never about the perfect line. It was never about begging for permission. It was never about negotiating your desire like a business deal. Intimacy is about presence, about energy, about the way you stand in your truth without apology. And if you don't understand this, you will spend your life fumbling in the dark, never knowing why she pulls away, never knowing why she says she's not in the mood, never knowing why the connection feels dead before it ever begins. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to break down what no one has ever dared to tell you. I'm going to expose why your hesitation kills attraction, why your begging destroys respect, and why your fear of rejection is the very thing that ensures you get rejected. And I'm going to show you the shift that will change everything. Not just how you approach intimacy, but how you approach yourself as a man. If you think this is going to be another gentle lecture, you're wrong. This will confront you. It will challenge you. It will demand that you stop hiding, that you stop negotiating, that you stop living like a boy waiting for permission. Because the moment you grasp this truth, you will never ask for intimacy again. You will embody it. You will radiate it. And she will feel it. So if you're ready to stop playing safe and finally understand what creates real attraction, watch until the end. Because once you hear this, you'll never see intimacy the same way again. Intimacy is not about asking for permission, it is about embodying presence. And this is where most men lose the game before it even begins. They walk into intimacy with hesitation, with doubt, with this nervous energy that communicates one thing very clearly. I don't know if I deserve this. And let me tell you, when a woman feels that from you, she pulls away instantly. Because at the deepest level, she isn't looking for a man who comes to her like a beggar. She is looking for a man who comes to her like a force. Calm, steady, unapologetic about his desire, but powerful enough to hold her emotions, her insecurities, her fire. Presence means you are fully in the moment with her. It means you are not distracted, not second-guessing, not calculating how she might respond. You are there, with your body, your breath, your eyes locked in, your mind focused. And when a woman feels that, she relaxes. Because presence communicates safety. Presence communicates strength. Presence tells her, you are with a man who is grounded enough to carry himself, and therefore capable of carrying you. That is when intimacy becomes natural, not because you asked, not because you begged, but because you created an environment where her body feels safe to open. Think about it. When you timidly ask, can I kiss you? Can I touch you? Is this okay? What are you really doing? You're placing the burden of leadership on her shoulders. You're forcing her to be the one to guide the moment, to make the choice, to carry the weight of your hesitation. And women hate that. Not because they don't want consent. That's important. But because they don't want to feel like the masculine energy in the dynamic. They don't want to mother you, to reassure you, to lead you into your own desire. They want to feel that you are man enough to know what you want and confident enough to act on it with clarity, while still being sensitive to how she responds. Presence is power without aggression. It's dominance without force. It's a state of being that says, I am here, I see you, I want you, and I am not afraid of that. When you embody this, you won't need to ask timidly for intimacy, because everything about you, your eyes, your touch, your silence, your energy, will be inviting her into it. She will feel that she is stepping into a moment that is already alive, already charged, already undeniable. And when she feels this, she will not only accept your desire, she will mirror it back with her own. But here's the deeper truth: presence requires courage. Because to be truly present, you must risk rejection. You must be willing to put yourself out there without hiding behind hesitation, without seeking guarantees, without protecting your ego. Most men never reach this level because they are terrified of being turned down. So they water down their presence, soften their desire, disguise their intent in polite questions. And in doing so, they kill the very energy that would have drawn her closer. A woman respects a man who is brave enough to show his desire openly, not in a crude way, not in a pushy way, but in a way that leaves no doubt. That courage creates trust. Because if you can handle your own vulnerability, if you can risk putting your desire on the table, then she knows you can also handle hers. That is what makes her feel safe. That is what makes her want to open to you, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Presence unlocks a deeper intimacy because it speaks to something primal in her, the need to feel held by someone who is strong enough to stand firm in who he is. And let's be clear, presence doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to say the perfect words. You don't have to create the perfect scenario. Presence means you bring all of yourself, flaws included, without apology. It means your mind isn't wandering, your body isn't tense with fear, your spirit isn't shrinking. You are there. You are steady. You are fully alive in the moment. That is what she feels. That is what she craves. So the next time you find yourself about to ask a woman for intimacy, pause. Don't think about the words. Don't overanalyze the timing. Don't beg for permission. Ask yourself one question: am I fully present right now? Am I in my body, in my breath, in my desire without shame? If the answer is yes, then you won't need to force the moment. It will unfold naturally. Because presence itself is the invitation. Presence is the answer. Presence is the magnet. Presence is the power. If you master this, you won't have to ask a woman for intimacy. She will already know. She will already feel it. And she will already be moving closer. So stop asking like a boy and start embodying presence like a man. Because when you do, intimacy is no longer a question. It becomes a certainty. Desire dies the moment you turn it into negotiation, and this is a truth that most men refuse to accept because they are too afraid of owning their desire fully. They think if they bargain, if they tread carefully, if they phrase it softly enough, they will win a woman's heart or her body. But what really happens is the exact opposite. Negotiation strips away the raw, magnetic power of desire and replaces it with hesitation. And hesitation is the enemy of attraction. When a man negotiates intimacy, he comes across as uncertain about himself. He signals to the woman that he doesn't trust his own value, that he isn't sure if he is worthy of her. Imagine what that communicates if you don't even believe in yourself. Why should she? Why should she feel safe in your arms if your voice is filled with doubt? Why should she surrender to you when you can't even stand firm in what you want? Every moment of hesitation kills the fire before it even starts burning. A woman does not want a man who asks, "Do you think maybe we could?" She doesn't want to feel like she's doing you a favor. That kills respect. That kills polarity. She wants to feel that she has been chosen, that your desire for her is real, unapologetic, and grounded. Not reckless, not forceful, but clear and undeniable. Women are deeply attuned to energy. They can feel when a man is hiding behind nervous words, trying to barter his way into closeness. And when they sense that, they recoil, not always consciously, sometimes subtly. But they withdraw because it doesn't feel strong, it doesn't feel safe, it doesn't feel like leadership. Think about it. When desire becomes negotiation, it loses its authenticity. It becomes a transaction. You are no longer saying, "I want you." You are saying, "If I do this, will you give me that?" That is the language of contracts, not connection. That is the energy of business, not intimacy. And no woman is turned on by a man treating her like a deal he's trying to close. She wants to feel the certainty of your attraction, not the desperation of your bargaining. The deeper issue is that men who negotiate intimacy are really negotiating with their own fear of rejection. They are trying to secure a guarantee, a safety net, before they reveal themselves fully. But what they don't understand is that this very act of seeking safety is what destroys attraction. Women don't want guarantees, they want courage. They want to feel your willingness to step into the unknown, to risk rejection, to reveal your desire without apology. That's what excites them. That's what earns their respect. Negotiation kills passion because passion thrives on polarity, on the masculine energy of certainty and the feminine energy of surrender. The moment you place the burden of decision on her shoulders, you reverse this polarity. She feels like she has to lead, to reassure, to guide you into your own confidence. And that dynamic makes intimacy impossible. Instead of feeling chosen, she feels burdened. Instead of feeling desired, she feels pressured to make a choice for you. And in that shift, the spark dies. You want to keep desire alive, then stop turning it into a question mark. Your energy should be a statement, not a negotiation. Your presence should make her feel, without a doubt, that you want her. And at the same time, your awareness should give her the freedom to respond, to step into that energy willingly. That is how attraction is sustained, not by begging, not by bargaining, but by holding your ground with clarity. This doesn't mean you bulldoze over her boundaries or ignore her signals. It means you stop undermining your own desire with weak words. You express it in your eyes, in your touch, in the steadiness of your presence. You show her through your confidence that you know what you want, and then you let her choose freely whether to meet you there. That balance, your certainty and her freedom, is what keeps the fire burning. So hear me clearly, every time you turn desire into a negotiation, you weaken the very attraction you are trying to build. You are telling her, I don't trust myself and I don't trust you to want me. That is not intimacy. That is insecurity dressed up as politeness. A woman doesn't want to be bargained with. She wants to be desired with courage. She wants to feel the clarity of a man who knows what he wants and is not afraid to stand in it, even if it means risking a no. Because here's the paradox: the moment you stop negotiating and start embodying certainty, that is when she is most likely to lean in. That is when she feels the pull of your presence, the strength of your masculine energy, the power of your desire, not because you forced her, but because you created the space for her to willingly surrender into it. So stop negotiating your desire. Stop asking timidly. Stop diluting the fire with hesitation. Stand firm, be clear, be courageous enough to say, without words if necessary, I want you. And then let her feel the truth of it in your presence. Because the man who negotiates loses her respect, but the man who embodies certainty awakens her desire. And the choice is yours. Will you bargain like a boy, or will you lead like a man? The hardest balance for a man to strike is between desire and attunement, and yet it is the single most important key to creating real intimacy. Most men lean too far to one side. They either bulldoze with unfiltered desire, coming across as aggressive, selfish, and disconnected from her needs, or they collapse into insecurity, smothering their desire under politeness, and in doing so, killing all attraction. Neither extreme works. One makes her feel unsafe, the other makes her feel unseen. The art is to stand firm in your desire, but remain deeply tuned into her signals, her energy, her emotions in the moment. A woman does not want to be conquered like an object, nor does she want to be tiptoed around like glass. She wants to feel both claimed and considered. Claimed in the sense that you are certain about your attraction, unapologetic about wanting her, but considered in the sense that you see her as more than just a body. You see her as a human being with boundaries, moods, and rhythms. This is what creates the polarity that fuels intimacy. Masculine certainty paired with feminine freedom. Your strength gives her safety, your attunement gives her trust. Together, they open the door to real closeness. Most men are terrified of this balance. They think if they express desire too clearly, they'll scare her away. Or if they focus too much on sensitivity, they'll lose her respect. But the truth is that women can tell instantly when a man is one-dimensional. If you're only desire without sensitivity, she feels reduced. If you're only sensitivity without desire, she feels bored. The balance is what shocks her system, what makes her crave you, what makes her respect you. Attunement means you pay attention not just to her words, but to her body language, her breath, the subtle signals she gives. It means you notice when she leans in or pulls away, when her energy opens or closes. And instead of ignoring those signals, you adjust with presence and respect. That adjustment does not mean you lose your desire. It means your desire is intelligent. It is aware. It is directed toward her as a whole being, not just as an object of pleasure. And here's where philosophy comes in. True intimacy is not about taking, it's about synchronizing. It is not about imposing your will, nor about erasing it. It's about creating harmony between two energies. Masculine presence and feminine surrender meet in the middle when a man has the courage to lead, but the humility to listen. That is the balance women rarely find, and when they do, they are magnetically drawn to it, because it makes them feel both wanted and respected at the same time. Desire alone can make her feel used. Attunement alone can make her feel motherly toward you. But the combination, that makes her feel alive. She feels the fire of your passion and the safety of your awareness. She knows she can let go because you are not reckless with her heart, nor timid with your own. And when a woman feels that, intimacy is no longer an act. It becomes an experience she will never forget. This is why so many men fail at intimacy. They are either too afraid to show desire, thinking it will offend, or too obsessed with their own desire, ignoring her completely. Both approaches destroy trust, and without trust, intimacy cannot survive. What makes you powerful as a man is not simply your ability to want, but your ability to want with clarity, with respect, with intelligence. It's also important to realize that attunement is not weakness. Too many men confuse sensitivity with fragility. Being attuned does not mean you give up leadership. It means you lead with awareness. It means your strength is not blunt force, but precision. A strong man without attunement is reckless. A sensitive man without desire is lost. But a man who combines the two is unstoppable. He becomes the type of man a woman remembers for the rest of her life. Not because he forced intimacy, not because he begged for it, but because he created an environment where desire and trust coexisted perfectly. The truth is, intimacy at its highest level is not about performance, it's about presence. And presence requires both certainty and awareness. Without desire, there is no fire. Without attunement, there is no safety. And without both, there is no intimacy. So the challenge is not to choose one or the other, but to hold both at once. To look into her eyes with unwavering desire, while still listening to the subtle shifts in her body. To express what you want boldly while respecting what she needs deeply. To be unafraid of your passion, but never careless with her vulnerability. That balance is rare, that balance is powerful, and that balance is what makes intimacy unforgettable. So remember this, desire without attunement is selfish, attunement without desire is empty. But when you combine the two, you create the kind of connection that goes beyond the physical into something eternal. And the question you must ask yourself is this: will you be the man who only desires, the man who only listens, or the man who knows how to do both?